There's been a lot of talk lately about defunding the D.C. Police Department. Today, the D.C. Council's Committee on the Judiciary and Public Safety says they are listening. They approved a $15 million preliminary cut to the D.C. Police Department budget. Our Colby Satterfield breaks it down for us.
According to the committee chair, yes. And Council Member Charles Allen says, as far as he can remember, this is the largest cut to MPD's budget. Also, he says he wants to reinvest the $15 million that would go towards traditional policing and instead put the money towards programs better suited to meet the community's needs, such as alternative gun violence prevention measures and criminal justice efforts. Also, part of the proposed budget cuts, an amendment that would put a 4-year term limit on the police chief. Councilmember Allen's office says this would be retroactive, and D.C. Police Chief Peter Newsham would be up for an evaluation in May 2021. So what has the reaction been to these proposed MPD budget cuts? Well, last night protesters went to Councilmember Allen's house after that notice came out, and they banged pots and pans and chanted for the council member to wake up and come outside. A few weeks back, Mayor Bowser and Chief Newsham said NPD had been steadily reforming for nearly 2 decades, and reducing funding would lead to trouble. But they are willing to consider policies that improve accountability. Here's what the council member said today about the proposed cuts.
The council, like all Americans, is grappling with undoing centuries of layered systemic racism and its permutations throughout our society. There will be no single law or single budget that could possibly provide a single remedy. This is an iterative process, just like the way it is to get to where we are today. But moderate change is unacceptable. This budget reflects significant action and aligns with other sweeping reforms this committee has undertaken, but it's also one piece of a movement to which every level of government, including among executive branch agencies, must make real change.
When it comes to proposed budget cuts for MPD, is it just a $15 million cut? Well, according to Councilmember Allen's office, no, and that the mayor's proposed MPD budget for next year is less than what it is currently operating on right now. Now, this budget is not approved yet. It needs to go through a few more processes until it can go before the full council in July. In D.C., Colby Satterfield, WUSA 9.